hands-on luggage. Matter of fact, Seabass has a piece of hands-on luggage here that could be for most of our family trips. If I have any of my kids in the service right now, they know this piece of luggage. This piece of luggage is packed almost every vacation. Not every, but it's rare that we don't need this piece of luggage. This is what we call the beach bag. How many of you pack the beach bag when you're ready for a big beach trip? Raise your hand. Now, I'm not talking about you kids out there that are in your 20s and 30s that have 4 or 5 kids and you pull along the pulling ATV out on the beach with the jump big tires. I'm not talking about that. We didn't have that in our day. We made 19 trips. That's what we did. And then we took an airport. We didn't have the big old wheel wagon deal and you bring all your kids in it and even your in-laws. You were dragging everybody out to the beach. No, we had a beach bag and we kept the beach bag. And then Cindy would always have our towels ready to roll. And then I would have my, I forgot my brand. I love this 8 suntan lotion. Tropicana suntan lotion. I think it's Tropicana, right? What is it? Sunbum, same thing, whatever. And I love it. I love laying out on the beach. Actually, I love umbrellas. Who's an umbrella beach person? Anybody? I'm all over it. I love it. They say you get sun under the umbrella. Whatever. Why we use them, I don't know. But I love that. And then here's something we found since we don't have kids anymore. I mean, we have kids. We have Arlo. But no, I'm kidding. We since we're empty nesters, we found a new. So we still might take the big beach bag because I like carrying a lot of LaCroix. If you never drank a LaCroix, it's my Baptist beer, and that's what I take to the beach. And I'll pack it tight. And some of you are looking that up right now. It's like, alcoholic pastor, get you a LaCroix. I love every flavor, almost every flavor. But we found this right here. And this is something we like because you can put suntan lotion with sand on it is just annoying. Raise your hand if you know what I'm saying. Anybody? So what we do is we throw all of our whatever in here and our sandy whatever in here. Then we take it to the shower head as we're washing ourselves. You can just wash all your stuff off right here, dries out, set it on the deal, we're ready to roll. Instead of leaving it in the bag all week where KJ and Sarah dump all their sandy stuff. Maybe it was them. I don't know, whoever it was. Yeah, it probably was. And this bag's important. If you know this bag's important, say yeah. Anybody beach? Who's beach? Raise your hand. Who's mountains? Raise your hand. Okay, that's what I thought. Beach wins every time. If you love the mountains, that is good. I like the mountains if I have a weapon in my hand that can harvest God-given animals. Other than that, I'm not a mountain man. I don't know if this is going to stay there, but I'm going to do my best. You need to carry these pieces. And number 7 is this. We're looking at verse number 14 of Exodus chapter 20. And I'm reading King James here. It says, you shall not commit adultery. Again, we're in the horizontal relationships. We're in the horizontal relationships. And here's what I want to say, because I already know single people checking out. You're like, oh man, here we go, marriage talk. Listen, the most famous single unmarried man ever to live on planet Earth had a ton to say about marriage. So as a single unmarried person right now, listen up, because he had a lot to say about it. By the way, his name's Jesus. Jesus Christ. Y'all with me? Okay. You shall not commit adultery. Matter of fact, I'm just going to break in. It's not even my notes. If you want to really screw up a horizontal relationship, get involved in this. If you want to wreck the beauty of God's love shown to a lost world, get involved in this. You're like, man, this is too early. This is too tough. I've been there. Also recognize this. If you've been there, you're forgiven. Also, if you think you haven't been there, just wait till I get to the point that we're going to make here that Jesus made, because he always ratchets it up a notch. Because to describe faithfulness or unfaithfulness is to describe God's kids. And faithfulness and unfaithfulness is the clarity within this, because God declares marriage holy. Marriage is a big deal. It's a big deal, and he declares it holy, and he wants us to be serious about it as well. And we cannot debase anything that God lifts up. We have to honor it as well. Matter of fact, he says this in Mark 10 and verse 9, what God has joined together, let no man separate, or if you like some King James every once in a while, and I just get it every once in a while. It says, let no man put asunder. I used to think that meant us under. It doesn't mean that. It means separation. Asunder is a cool warrior term that you'd like cut something in half. And that's what he says. No man should separate this. Deciding the person that you're in covenant with at the altar is so imperative. It's worth your full attention. It definitely is imperative so that you're not killing, as we talked about previously, this relationship. And how we do this is we keep our focus on number one. And then Jesus says, for those of us that feel extra spiritual right now, he says, let's talk what adultery truly is. And he jumps us back to Matthew chapter 5. Look at verse 27. Jesus says this. Again, he's ratcheting everything up. He always wants to take it to the next level. Everybody wants to get rid of the law and go to grace. This is the grace portion of the law. Okay, I'm just saying, like tithing, it's the same way. Like murder, it's the same way. Jesus always, grace ratchets the notch of the relationship to a new level. The law, it makes it very, very bland. Grace says, hey, I know him. Not only that, now we have his Spirit, Jesus, Spirit of God, living in us. So let's take it up a notch. Other than just a list we can check off. So he says, hey, you've heard it said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say, Jesus, not me, I'm just the messenger today. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Now, I know you ladies are like, sorry, man, it's on you. No, he was just a good counselor. He knew he's counseling men, not women. He was staying above board. The understanding is the same regardless of the gender. Now have you committed adultery? And I'm standing here saying I have. I mean, I'd love to stand up here and say I've never lusted after another woman in my heart. I can't say that. But I do know God's forgiveness is real. Now, if you're continuing in that, or you take steps toward that, that's a whole nother level. But the reality is, there's a good chance many of us have been there. Here's what I exhort you to do. Ask God to forgive you. Get everything lined out. I'm going to give you steps how you can win. But I do know this. If we'll carry the desire to honor God by not committing adultery, or carrying that luggage with us, the beauty of it, just like this sandy sunbum and Tropicana and whatever KJ uses, the 100 sunproof frog stuff in there, you're able to take it, put it under the water of God's grace, wash it all clean, because that's what he does. And you and I have to do the same thing. It's not just because God does, we confess it. See, the more we confess the fact that there's lust in our heart, here's the deal, the more we hate it. Because the Spirit of God lives in us. The more we try to hide it and keep it secret, that's when the enemy's got you. And for some people, especially hearing it from a pastor, you're like, dude, that weirds me out. For me to stand up here and say something other than the truth, number one, makes me a liar and a fool. I'm held accountable before God. But I want to empower you to say, I'm just like you. Yes, my calling may be different, but we can win in this area of sin. We can win. If you believe that, say yeah. I want us to take steps to be successful in it. And here's the thing that I know. We talked about the 6th piece of luggage last week. And you remember what it is, psycho, right? It leads right into the 7th. I mean, it's the same kind of deal about killing relationally. Matter of fact, the 6th piece of luggage simply says that a person is expendable. Their life doesn't matter. The 7th piece of luggage says that a person is consumable. And when you start making them consumable, you're not honoring God's creation, and you'll find yourself in a terrible place. Not only spiritually, but you'll find yourself in a terrible place relationally. How many of you know that somebody other than your spouse is attractive? Raise your hand. Now, this is risky. I know it's risky. I'm raising my hand. Here's the deal. That's not a sin. That's not a sin. Someone just patted the person they were talking about, I think, just saying, please forgive yourself right now, God will too. No, they didn't. I'm just saying, we're all there. How do we win in this area where we stop making humans consumables? Where we honor God? Well, here's how we do it. We got to guard ourselves from lust. That's what it is. Adultery is lust. And lust is not something that is always sin. Because here's the deal. I have in my heart lust for my wife regularly. You need to pray. If you ever pray for Cindy, that's what you need to pray right now in Jesus' name. Help a lady out. But there's nothing wrong with lusting after her. But having a God-given desire for my wife is one thing. But having an un-God-given desire for someone that isn't my wife is wrong. That's when it's sin.